Hundreds of protesters barricaded the main entry gate of National Assembly Complex Abuja Tuesday morning, demanding resignation of Senate President Bukola Saraki from office. The protest is coming in the face of the ongoing trial of Senate President Bukola Saraki at the Code of Conduct Tribunal over alleged false asset declaration. The protesters barricaded the entry point of the National Assembly, forcing the lawmakers and legislative staff to make do with the alternative entrance at the back of the complex to resume work. Placard-carrying protesters accused Senate President of act of corruption and delay in budget assets. Spokesman of the group, Sadiq Jeddah, called on the Senate President Bukola Saraki to resign from office.
The Senate President should resign. Why? Since he's indicted. You want to tell me he's going through trial and he has not been declared. The mere reason that he has been indicted is integrity is in question. So he has to resign. It's not a do or die thing. It's not a do or die. Legislation is for every other Nigerian.
Another speaker, Nyemeshi Tedeke, condemned the recent purchases of 36 exotic cars by the Nigerian Senate.
And so the National Assembly, what have they become? They have become the worst of our past. Governors, ministers, commissioners that have looted this country dry are there. So what do you want? They have become the worst of our present, and they have become the problems of our tomorrow. What we want? Yes. They didn't give us our budget clean without any constituency projects. One. Then two, let them open up their books. We want to know what is the National Assembly budget. Three, and most importantly, let them return those cars. They don't need those cars. Look, I bought a car since 2007. I've not replaced it. How many years be that? About 10 years.
Earlier, pro-Saraki group also staged a rally in support of the Senate President, Bukola Saraki. Spokesman of Senate President Group, Solomon Adodo, called on the leadership of the ruling All Progressive Congress to find political solution to the Senate President trial at CCT.
All we are saying is that if justice must be done, it should be rightly so done. It should not be in a contrived manner wherein you seek to untwist somebody, browbeat somebody, hoodwink and then emasculate and suppress an arm of government. We know the bite this is having on the masses. The business of legislature is a very serious business, and it should not be trifled with political colorations. And that is why we have come here today to voice our disenchantment against the manner in which these issues are being handled.
Meanwhile, Senate leader Ali Ndume has said no amount of protest can force any senators out of office. From National Assembly Complex Abuja, Muyiwa Bamdele reporting.
In furtherance of his welfare packages for officers and men of the Nigerian Police Force, the Inspector General of Police, IGP Solomon Arase, has performed the land-breaking ceremony for another set of 1,004 housing units for police officers in Goza town in the Nigerian capital, Abuja. Speaking at the event, the police board said the issue of welfare, especially housing provision for officers of the force, is a priority for the present management of the force.
This landmark event symbolizes the continuation of efforts of the force leadership to address one of the most fundamental challenges facing officers and men, which access to decent accommodation for themselves and their supportive families. Aside this, today's event represents another historic leap towards advancing the welfare-oriented policing component of my strategic police plan as Inspector General of Police.
Giving a background to the project, the IGP said is in partnership with the private sector and some international organizations.
Ladies and gentlemen, this project is being undertaken by the Nigerian Police Force Property Development Company, Nigerian Cooperative Society in conjunction with Shelter Africa and UA Habitat. The partnership will lead to the construction of 25,000 units of low-cost houses for members of the Nigerian Police Force nationwide. Today, the construction of 1,004 units of this initiative is being launched in FCT. The uniqueness of today's event, however, rests on the fact that this is the first time that international bodies will be collaborating with Nigerian Police Force for purposes of addressing the housing needs of the personnel of the force. This represents an increasing confidence of the international bodies in not just the Nigerian police, but in the federal government.
High point was the official bricklaying ceremony to flag off the project. From Abuja, I am Festus Ejiroga Nefifen for Ben Television.
Senate President Bukola Saraki has said the proposed railway bill will usher in a new era of growth in rail sector in the country. The Senate President stated this while declaring open public hearing on proposed Nigerian Railway Corporation bill in Abuja. Saraki also explained that the existing law in the rail sector is outmoded. He said the law restricts investment to the public sector.
I sincerely hope that the proposed railway bill will lead to and usher a new era of growth and enablement for the private sector to participate more robustly and directly in the provision of rail services and railway infrastructure while ensuring efficiency and sustainability. As we begin deliberation on this bill, let me charge us to imagine the great benefit a new rail system enabling investment and promoting competition and innovation will have on our economy. The implications are already significant and direct, from the change it will bring to agriculture, mining, oil and gas, labor, transportation, urban planning, to the sheer number of jobs that the construction and investment potential in this area holds. We have no choice but to speedily and comprehensively review and pass this bill.
The chairman of the Senate Committee on Land Transport, Senator Benga Ashafa, described the public hearing as a success story to Nigerian rail sector.
One that is very, very unique in the sense that hardly of recent would you find a public hearing where the declaration of that public hearing will be done by the Senate President himself, accompanied by the Deputy Senate President and two other principal officers. The beginning of it showed that this is serious business. This is a bill that is dear to our nation. And we look at the robustness of issues discussed there. Almost everybody that started with us stayed. Even those that could not make it, like the Minister for Transportation, sent in words that what they were doing in Lagos, that is the town hall meeting, which included so many other ministries, he had to leave that place, and it was impossible for him to catch the plane. The next plane will be 4 o'clock. We have already finished. But it was well represented by his technical officers. The directors were there. The acting MD of NRC was there. Another person that represented NITT, gave a very, very incisive paper that we could tap into.
Muyiwa Bamdele reporting.
The decision by the Nigerian Police Management Team under the leadership of Inspector General of Police Solomon Arase in creating the Complaint Response Unit CRU of the force has started yielding positive results, as the first quarter of 2016 report has indicated a reduction in the complaints received against officers and men of the Nigerian police. The first quarter report, which was made available to Ben Television in Abuja, shows that 1,075 complaints were received, out of which 899 is resolved and closed, 96 being false or irrelevant calls, 21 distress calls, and 59 pending cases. Comparing the quarterly reports to the report of the first 100 days of establishing the CRU, 10 state command, which include Bayelsa, Benue, Ebonyi, FCT, Kano, Niger, Ogun, Ondo, Oyo, Zamfara, which were hitherto recording high number of complaints from the public, have shown steady decline in the number of cases from January through March 2016. Speaking to Ben Television in an exclusive interview in Abuja, the officer in charge of the Complete Response Unit, CSP Shogunle Abayomi, said from the 899 cases that have been resolved and closed, 20 officers from the rank of Assistant Commissioner of Police and below have been sanctioned and disciplined in line with laid down rules.
CRU has changed the way police interacts with members of the public, and the CRU is closing the gaps that used to exist in the past between the police and the public, in the sense that members of the public can now have a platform where they can raise their concerns, their complaints 24/7, and such complaints and concerns are resolved almost immediately, which had never happened before in the past.
On the issues of some Nigerians who might not be too happy with the outcome of some of their complaints, the CRU boss said all things are done in line with extant laws.
Just as we are all aware, roadblock has created a lot of negative image for the police, for the Nigerian police force, and the scrapping of roadblock, in no doubt, has gone a long way to reduce the complaint, for sure. Even though I agree that there are different circumstances, there are system factors. There are system factors responsible for rising number of cases. There are different factors responsible, but issue of pressure is out of it. I don't believe that is part of it. But as a matter of fact, the CRU is studying these complaints because we want to develop a pattern of complaint for every state command. We want to see those that are actually responsible. At the end of the day, we want to have a comprehensive look at complaints from every state, so that we can get to actually see, then that is how we're going to now say this is the reason why this is happening, and if this is the reason why this is happening, then this is the solution we believe should be put in place, stop or reduce this from further happening. And we're going to be making this recommendation to the IGP in the coming days.
CSP Abayomi Shogunle, who was the former Deputy First PRO, also took time to speak on the major factors and limitations facing the unit, which includes high level of illiteracy and low level of awareness on the part of rural dwellers, while emphasizing that in the overall, the gains are more than the challenges.
We have not created new sets of rules in CRU. We have not created new laws in CRU. What we are banking on are the existing laws that we have in the country, existing police acts and regulation, existing civil service rules. Those are the things we are using. And if the rules or the law says that this is the procedure, this should be in place before you can say this has happened, and those things are not in place, we try to explain to them as such, and we tell them, but if you have new information, additional information, feel free to come up with it or with them. But so far so good, no police officer has appealed any sanction or the outcome of any of these cases, because these are clear-cut cases with evidence.
He therefore used the medium to advise Nigerians to desist from the habit of arguing with police officers, as that could lead to a situation beyond control. From Abuja, I am Festus Ejiroga Nefifen for Ben Television.